Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from our space. Today on our space, a broken heart and a broken home. A good man tries to make sense of his wife's betrayal. Can he overcome the pain and take the high road? Follow along to find out. Wife cheated. Accepts. Hello. I've been a lurker here for a little while, trying to process infidelity in my life. Long story short, wife and I have been married 8 years. Together, a few years longer total, and have 2 small kids. This year's been tough, and we have had our arguments, but nothing that I would ever think would push my wife to cheat. Anyways, I noticed her lately being distant and being uncommunicative and decided to confront her one evening. At that time, she said that she was not happy and couldn't feel a spark anymore. At first, I freaked out on myself, thinking I was being a non-attentive husband, truthfully an issue. However, the next day, I caught a very strange message on her phone that was extremely lovey-dovey. I took a look and then found my wife was messaging a man for a long time with lots of I love yous and plans for a future together. Effing destroyed. Anyways, taking the advice of the many threads on here, I did confront initially. I actually read as much as I could, contacted a couple of lawyers for advice, one now on retainer, and got my head on straight and calm. I confronted my wife a couple days ago calmly and asked if she was having an affair, and after a couple of minutes, she admitted everything. Long story short, it's been going on for 6 months and she claims it's the deepest emotional connection ever. Complete BS, but whatever. To end it all, I gave my list of boundaries. Cut off contact, marriage counseling, etc. The thing that I think is the final nail of an honest attempt to reconcile is she got extremely aggravated with cutting off contact, especially when I told her to do it in front of me and even insisted to see him one last time for closure. I effing held my ground and told her if he is so important, pack a bag and go live with him, to which she backed off, but not before she told me I was a controlling a-hole. Anyways, she sent a text this morning and showed me, but my spidey senses seem to think she will try a different means of communication. I'm thinking there is no hope, and I honestly don't want it at this point, but I just wanted to be able to tell my kids in 20 years that I at least tried. We have marriage counseling tomorrow, but I'm thinking it's time to file before wasting any time or grief. I'm cautious to move too fast because of my kids, but is this the right way to do it? The OP continued in the comments. Wow, this thread got big fast. Thanks for the awesome comments. It's been helpful to get validation. I had the paperwork filled out with my lawyer. They just need to process it, and I will have to pick a date to have her served. You're all right. This will not end well if I do go the doormat route. I need to think about my future and my kids and move on. One person responds, it honestly is great to see someone not be a doormat in this situation. Honestly, good on you for playing it smart. It will suck, but keep that rage on red hot. Don't let it cool down because you are keeping your head in the game. You will thank yourself later for this. Your kids will also once they are capable of understanding. I would actually consider keeping the evidence locked away in case she ever tries telling the children a different story, so they can see it with their own eyes. Probably too extreme and not a good parent thing to do, to go that scorched earth and salt the fields. Honestly, I think you would be doing your children a disservice if you stayed with a woman like that. Kids aren't dumb. They catch on to things. If they see you allowing yourself to be mistreated, they'd allow themselves to be mistreated with whatever toxic partners they would gravitate towards later in life. If your wife insists to see a fair partner one last time, you know for certain it's never, ever going to be the last time. Update. The past few weeks, simply put, sucked, but it's given me time for a lot of soul searching and thinking. As an update from the previous thread, the wife and I did attend some counseling after the initial confrontation, and I will say this particular counselor had been very good about listening to both of us and not assigning blame or anything like that, and helping to navigate our new reality. She has also helped to uncover some structural issues in our relationship, and while it doesn't at all excuse my wife's behavior, it's helpful at least knowing for a future relationship and not repeating the same mistakes. As also mentioned in the thread, my wife's initial reaction to my boundary to cut off contact with the affair partner appeared to go unheeded, and I did catch small messages between them before she completely went dark with her chat, logs, and phone. After seeing that, I decided to file, and she was served a few days ago, and in parallel, I decided to have a heart-to-heart with my father-in-law, as we are super close and I needed to prioritize this support for our kids versus our relationship, as I could see my wife wanted to sweep this under a rug. Needless to say, my wife was initially extremely upset. Her fantasy was blown up, but her therapist did talk it through with her from my point of view on why this needed to happen, and I think she has started to realize the consequence of her actions and start to see there are real things that are going to be lost. From here on out, I'm just trying to process the new life ahead and the huge change in my identity from a husband, father to something else. Same with her. I will say, since I filed, my wife was immediately shocked when I dropped that on her, and she's been very emotional these past few days. I honestly think she thought I would never be able to walk away. I've kept her at arm's length, but I have seen a distinct change in her, and on a positive note, we have talked more, kept our conversation civil, and focused on our shared priorities, children mostly. I made it very clear to her that she left a huge wound on me and that she has to do the heavy lifting to help prepare and give me space and time if I can ever begin to forgive. I'll say it again and again. Her actions are the most selfish, self-centered, horrible thing you could do to a person. But I have not lost sight that we still need to raise our children, and that is my focus point as I navigate how I will move forward to the next phase of my personal happiness. I wanted to thank everyone for the previous comments and insight. I'm honestly proud that I found the strength to not wallow in self-pity, anger, or sadness, and was able to make the right moves to retain my dignity and look forward to the bright future. I honestly don't know all the next moves, and my feelings are constantly in flux, but I'm starting to feel some inner peace. Thank you all again. Small update. I'm in the post-serving part and working closely with my counsel. What I'm looking for is if any betrayed spouses here took advantage of the affair fog to get better divorce terms and how you pulled it off. My soon-to-be ex-wife is clearly deep in the fog, still seeing, contacting a career partner, which at the moment I haven't bothered her since is a good distraction. What did people get agreements on that were unexpected? Any advice is greatly appreciated on how to move through this phase, and also to keep her off balance is also helpful. Besides Grey Rock and 180, I've been going out much more unexpectedly and not divulging details of my activity. Update. Advice Grey Rocking during divorce proceedings. Hi everyone. I posted a few threads about my ongoing saga, but the abridged version is wife cheated, I caught her, she gave me the I love you, but not in love, and affair partner is the greatest emotional connection ever BS, and has circle truth, gaslit, everything through the script. I then proceeded to drop papers on her, and well, here we are a few weeks later. Long story short now, in the post-serving phase and have to cohabitate for now since I want to spend as much time with my children as possible. I'm now in a separate room too, so this has helped me begin to get that distance. I've implemented the Grey Rock with my soon-to-be ex-wife, generally trying not to be interested in any discussion, but I have to fake it a little, especially with kids around. They're still small, but try to be upbeat as they can sense a lot. I'm also not making myself available in the evening, going out with friends, working out, whatever. Any other advice on how to best handle the situation? It's a delicate balance. I want as much bonding time with my kids and have sucked it up for family dinners and whatnot. Any other do's and don'ts? Honestly, it seems like you're making all the right moves, OP. The best thing you can do right now is your children. As you said earlier, your children look back and see how you treated their mother as you were going through this will speak volumes of your character. It will serve as a huge lesson on how to treat others who have wronged you. You're a great father, OP. Update. I made a few posts prior, and to those that don't know the story, it's simply, wife cheated, greatest emotional attachment ever, love you but not in love, etc. I threw down papers, and well, I'm just over 1.5 months after D-Day and working like hell to move on. The purpose of this post is not for any update. All I can say is the process is ongoing and I will give the appropriate update at the right time, likely a while. My only request is for anyone that has gone through the process, please share any good advice, lessons learned, things you would have done differently, or good things to know. The advice in the previous posts have been super helpful, and those that have reached out in other ways have been incredible. Just reaching out in case there is more that can help. Update. She cheated, but I'm made to feel like the a-hole. Hey everyone. My story can be found in my post history, but long story short as always, wife cheated, found her greatest emotional turd ever, I threw down papers, and the train is riding to D-Town. Just wanted to get some stories on how folks dealt with in-laws, friends, etc., making you out to be a bad guy. I did get the jump after filing and told some of the in-laws, my family and some friends, but I didn't broadcast too wide as I wanted to keep some things quiet. That being said, I know my soon-to-be ex-wife likely threw down her side, and well, I'm getting some cold vibes from a lot of her family and some other folks. I know blood is thicker than water, but it sucks when your close family turns their backs despite being a good dad and the wife being an immoral turd. Did people start to see stuff later on and change their opinion, or just stop caring and moving on? I think it's inevitable for people to take sides in situations like this, but those who choose to believe her were never really loyal to you anyways, were they? You don't need people like that anyways. You only need to focus on your kids. You only need to focus on your side of the court. At the end of the day, you know what happened. You know the truth. That's all that matters. Update. Hi everyone. As of today, there is some closure coming my way in my saga that started over the summer and have been posting getting advice from everyone here. I just want to start off and thank this community for the incredible support and advice, especially to those folks who privately messaged and offered words of wisdom along the way. This is a crappy process to go through, especially when close family is far away. It sucks to be alone with your thoughts, but there is some wisdom and introspection to gain during this. For those that need a recap, one of the many threads is below, but the TLDR is my wife cheated and tried to hide it. I found out, realized there was no hope as she was deep in the fog with the affair partner and immediately filed on her. Anyways, the past few months have been frosty, but relatively drama-free as the soon-to-be ex and I separated our lives in a house, but still did things for our children. The discovery and mediation process proceeded pretty quickly. We agreed on 50-50 for our kids along with schedules and holidays, and since it's a no-fault state, asset division was by the book with some give and take. I won't go into details too much at this time, maybe another post in the future, but I will be finding a place soon for a fresh start. The final conclusion is on the horizon, but for the most part, the D is complete. As for my advice from this whole fiasco, I learned a bunch of things. 1. Don't bother with the pick-me dance. I tried for a week before wising up to her cheating. My soon-to-be ex is still in the fog, but it's her decision. She needs to live with it. 2. Do lawyer up with an experienced family law attorney who is reasonable. I can't say enough of the person who took care of me. Understanding that this is what I want versus reality was important in converging to the end. I don't have any crazy ridiculous fees as I did a lot of the prep and avoided hours and hours of back and forth, and this was able to be settled rather quickly. 3. Do lean on friends and family to support as much as possible. 4. Working out, exercise is key to keeping your mental health. I hit the weights a month after D-Day and I'm starting to reap the benefits, and that confidence has been helpful to get across the finish line. 5. Get into individual counseling and talk with someone. This has helped me tremendously. 6. I realized this from all the posts I read, but the cheaters' decisions are all on them. I heard it all from my soon-to-be ex. I was a roommate. I love you, not in love. Our marriage went so wrong. I worked too much, blah, blah. Truth be told, now that I know the timeline, our marriage went wrong after she invited someone in her life that was feeding her lines that stroke her ego and give her extra attention, and she had to put up walls and make me the bad guy to justify this in her mind. Sure, she may have been stressed from kids' day-to-day life and a long-term marriage, but not communicating to her husband and confiding in a two-time divorced cheater with no moral compass is all on her and a recipe for disaster. The exciting final chapter of Captain Sacknuts, Freeman A. Cheese, 5-year plan Sid affair partner is yet to be written, but poor choices carry consequences. That is all I will say on the matter. Again, thank you to everyone. I still have a lot of work ahead, but also many adventures in this new chapter of my life. I hope I can return the favor to anyone who needs it. Please reach out if anyone needs a helping hand. I am here. Update. As your ex pushed to still be in your life after divorce? Got a question for the group. I post history details, the greatest emotional connection love story ever. I'm not so far away from moving into my own place. As I have a couple of kids with my soon-to-be ex and also for legal reasons, I have remained in our marital house as this process has taken place. I have posted a couple other threads of the ongoing saga. Thankfully, the light is at the end of the tunnel for me soon. Obviously, I have to co-parent with my cheating ex and will be friendly for that, but I have been firm in saying she killed our marriage and by default, any sort of friendship. I have no room in my life for a lying cheater. She has, however, been insistent about wanting to be there for me, promising to help decorate my new house, and keeping holiday traditions for the kids. Again, I have remained firm in saying she torpedoed our relationship and wanted to replace me, so I'm simply giving her that wish, and even gone as far as to say she won't be a welcome guest in my house. Has anyone had this happen with the ex wanting to hang around? I have to guess it's some sort of optic. If we are friends, the split can't be so bad. So far, affair partner has not shown his face and she tries to hide it, but I know it's a matter of time before the greatest emotional connection gets to go live. I have no desire to ever be in the same room as them two anyways, but will remain outside the blast radius with popcorn when the whole thing goes up in flames. Thanks as always to this awesome group. Some group has some responses. First one, she's doing it for herself. It would absolve her partially from her guilt, at least in her mind. It would mean that the betrayal and hurt cannot be that big of a deal if you still let her be in your inner circle. Don't let her. DOP replies, yep, I know she is always concerned with image management, constantly posting on social media, etc. I've been letting my social media dry up anyways for my mental health, but she is definitely not in my inner circle where I've been sharing my thoughts, plans with her. The individual says, she's doing it as a control tactic. She's taking advantage of the fact that she has a new shag locked and loaded, ready to go, and you don't. Help you decorate your new house? AKA, she's trying to take control and put her stamp on your new